RightPath Technologies offers wide variety of courses and Java J2EE course is one among that. So let's look into this. What are we going to learn part of this Java J2EE course? The primary objective of this course is to get expertise in core Java, web application programming concepts and development, service-oriented programming, data and ORM frameworks, and tooling. So fundamentally, you need to know all of these technologies to become an expertise or experienced programmer in the Java. So in the real time, either you might work only on the core Java, or two, you might work on the web application programming, but the core Java is a fundamentally required whether you work in the web applications or service oriented programming or data or ORM frameworks. So essentially you need the fundamental concept that is core Java. Then service oriented programming, you might develop services in the backend applications. So essentially you will also deal with lot of data when you're doing these applications, how to store the data in the database and all those things. And so when you're working the real applications, you need to essentially use some of the tools to make your development is smooth and easy. So let's take little more insight into these technologies. What are the low level concepts we are going to focus more part of the course. So we will start with a core Java fundamental concepts and we will start with the Java architecture. So what is this Java? How it works? So what are the different moving components in the Java? Then we will look into a object-oriented programming fundamental concepts. Then we'll also learn some of the Java basic concepts like how do you write a simple program, what are the different components in the Java program, what is a keyword, how do you write the operators, and many more. Then we are going to learn some of the important concepts like exception handling, how do you handle the problems, how do you handle the multiple threads, how do you deal with the files and directories, and how do you deal with the data structures, and some of the latest concepts like generics and annotations and many more. Along with this, how do you interact with the database, how do you store the data, how do you retrieve the data. So these fundamental concepts essentially required to do any kind of applications in the Java. The next important section is web application programming. How can I develop an application which runs on the server and accessible through the browser, like banking applications, insurance applications, e-commerce applications, and many more. So to do these kind of applications, so you need to have some of the fundamental idea how these applications works. So you need to learn what is this HTTP protocol. This is the very underlying platform to access the web applications. And where do you run your application, that is in the web servers. And to develop these applications, you need to know many different moving pieces and components to build these great applications. You need to learn a lot of techniques and tips. So for that, we will be learning various technologies like servlets, filters, listeners, how do you handle the sessions, cookies, and many more. And how do you simplify your programming using the Java server pages, custom tags, and frameworks like Spring MVC framework. So we will go very in detail part of the training course. So but this will give you very quick insight into the web application programming what we are going to learn. So then we are going to focus more on service oriented programming next to web applications. So part of the service oriented programming, so basically, so nowadays the most of the companies are going towards multi-device applications, like the application can access in the browser, can access in the mobiles, can access in the tablets. So for that, do they develop all the application, whole application for each of these devices separately? No. So they will develop complete backend pieces, the backend business logic using the services, and they can access the services can directly access from different types of user interfaces like iPhone application, Android, tablets, browsers, and many more. To develop these service-oriented programs, you need to know either couple of technology, couple of different ways how you can build these. So one is web services and other one is RESTful services. So to know about the web services, you need to talk something about WSDL programming. Then how do you test these web services using the SOAP-AI tool? Then we will also learn about RESTful services to develop these service-oriented programs. So besides it, more or less all the Java-based applications need to deal with the data, and sometimes they might need to store the data in the databases. So the data can be represented in the form of XML. So then we will learn a framework called JAXB. How do you convert XML to Java, Java to XML? So which will simplify the Java programming to read and write the XML data. Then we will talk about data access object. It's one of the design pattern which will simplify interacting with the data store. So there are lot of frameworks also available on top of it. In the modern based technologies, Hibernate become very popular. So using the Hibernate, how we can interact with the database, that's what we are going to learn in the Hibernate ORM framework. So to do this Java programming, how do you do it? Do you write a programs on the text pads? No. So we will use various tools which simplifies Java programming language. So essentially, at bare minimum, we will use all these different tooling for developing the Java J2EE applications. So Maven build tool, which will automate the application life cycle, like compile and make the application, deploying the application, do other required steps. So how do you unit test your programs? It's again programmer has to take the responsibility. How do you implement the logging for your application? So how do you run your server side programs? How do you develop the programs using Eclipse or STS, different development environments, and many more we are going to use. So as a practical part of this overall training, so we will do a lot of practical sessions, like how do you write a best coding by following the coding guidelines and principles, and we will do a lot of assignments, and we will do a Java debugging, so to become expertise how you can look into the problems, how do you nail down the problems, and how do you fix the problems by using the Java debugging concepts. And we will do a lot of examples for each and every concept we are going to learn part of this training. So along with that, so we will also take a use case and we will implement that use case as a one of the application. So we can design whole application and we can design the data model and we can develop that application. So part of the training, so by distribute the work among all of us. So as an outcome, let's enroll into the course and get out of this course as a experienced and expertise Java J2EE programmer who can ready to develop the applications, who can ready to start their career in the Java J2EE programming. That is the you know expected outcome of this training course, Java J2EE programming. Thank you everyone, and thank you very much for your time and join this Java J2EE demo session who are watching. And your feedback is extremely important for us, and you can get more details about our training courses and various different services. You can find them at www.rightpathtechnologies.com, and you can reach us at training@rightpathtechnologies.com, or you can call back on 408 459 8415. Thank you.